Okay, so I've been in social media, and why I'm talking about social selling, I've been in social media for about 15 years now, and I've done lots of aspects of it, starting from social media intelligence and insights to strategy, paid social, and now social selling for the past 3 years. And during my career, I've been business owner. I had experience building a startup. I was a part of social intelligence agency, and then I moved to the brand side. I've been with Lenovo for 4 years as part of global social team, and now I'm a part of a sales team in Oracle Digital, driving social selling program. So, what I want to talk about today, because of the times, because where we are at right now, I want to look at the practice of social selling in a B2B organization. That's the bulk of my experience. It's a B2B tech sales. Objective of this presentation today is to get you inspired to start a social selling program or social selling initiative in your company if you don't have one yet. Or if you have one, then refresh it. So if you are not getting results, which is also quite a frequent case. And then if you have one and if you're happy with it, I'll be really excited to talk to you about your success. So please do comment in the Q&A section and do connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm always happy to learn from people who are involved in social initiatives in enterprise and to learn from success of others. So today I will be talking on a more high level. I will be talking about a model that can really be applied to any social media channel. I will be referring a lot to LinkedIn, and I will be referring, as I said, a lot to B2B sales experience. And if you have more specific questions about specific regions like Korea or Japan or Myanmar, where social media landscape is very different, and LinkedIn might not be the key channel for social sales. Please ask me a question after the session, or just connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to share my experience working with these countries with you, because the landscape in APAC varies greatly from country to country. You compare India, Australia, Japan, Cambodia, Korea. Everybody has a very specific program, but nevertheless, you can get results in every country. So this session is for any function really, and when you think about starting an initiative, I was thinking where, and I'm always asked where it should sit. In my experience, a social selling project program sits in sales, but it can be sitting in other organization and be as successful. So if you are a digital marketing manager, which I assume the most of the audience today should be, that's a digital marketing or marketing team can be a great driver for a social selling program. So it is your organic engine for your marketing campaign, for your content marketing, and the lead generation contribution by sales teams can really take you to the next level. And those are very qualified leads if the social selling program is done right. So now I see lots of functions, and I added the digital innovation team because with since April, March, I'm seeing lots of job postings or companies looking for digital innovation person. It can be a very technical person. It can be more of strategy person. So because obviously with COVID, lots of companies are looking at accelerating their digital transformation. So social selling is at the heart of it. So if you are someone who leads digital innovation in your company, this can be a great addition to your strategy. Obviously, enablement people. I talk a lot to sales enablement people, share lots of experience, and this is a great place to drive any social selling initiative as well. And communication managers. I try to work a lot with communications team and sales. It's a really interesting position for a social selling program as well, or social selling initiative, because salespeople are the ones who hear your customer story first. They are in the forefront. So with this, you can help. It would work both ways. You will understand how to tell the story the right way and how also to humanize the story that goes outside from the brand to your customers. So so where do I start? That's the most common question if you don't have the initiative yet. Where do I start is the most common question that is asked. Let me just check if I'm getting any messages from Alan. um, and then if you were looking at any initiatives or any social selling trainings, where do I start? Usually you start with a LinkedIn profile upgrade, right? So this is where you should be starting. You look at your LinkedIn profile and you do your revamp, lots of social selling training, start with it, which is not wrong. But in my case, I would say no. This is not where you are starting. You are not starting with upgrading LinkedIn profiles of your salespeople or whoever will be involved. In my opinion, starting with upgrading LinkedIn profile as the first step of your social selling initiative, it's like building your website before you figure out your target audience and what your product is really about. So before you jump into action, you need to have a view. You need to have a view of where you're going, what is needed, what you have already to get there, what you need, what kind of upgrades you need to get there. And you are starting with really basics. So social selling skills is nothing new. So that's where to the title of my presentation, is it art or algorithm? Is definitely not some unachievable art. It does not need to have skills that are really hard skills. So it's a mix of good sales and good marketing skills. Both are teachable and both are learnable. So you just add some basic common sense and you add some social media etiquette. So it really, in my opinion, it really boils down to three things. I think I jumped a little bit in my presentation. So it really boils down to three basics. And I will talk mainly about these three basics, and that's where the program goes. As I said, it will be the high level, and then in the execution, you will be able to customize it to your specific situation, to your product, to your industry, to your social media channels. I'll tell you these three basics is respect your audience, show up, and be curious and proactive. That's it. That's are the three pillars you need to really master, and you really need to focus on them to get your social selling success and to build the social selling program to be successful. So I want to explain what it means in more detail because that's where it will become your plan. So um, first, respect your audience. This is crucial, and this can entail many things. What I would define as the key areas in like what it means respecting your audience, what it means when you think about execution is understand your target customer. Really, and this is nothing new. You're all marketers here, most of your marketers, understanding your target customer, understanding your ICA, your audience is crucial. Absolutely same goes for social, same goes for sales. So you need to have very clear map of what problems your customers want to solve. You need to listen to existing customers to get to this understanding. You need to understand who are their influencers. So if you have, and now I'm more talking about execution, if you have a really good map, you can call it your persona, you can call it whatever, your customer blueprint, but you list the problems that customers are solving, and you can interview a couple of existing customers as a salesperson or as a marketer who drives the program. You understand who is the influencer in this case, in the case of your target customer. So from there, it will be really easy to define your content format, your content themes, and the channels where you are. So defining content format and channels before you start the program is quite important, because when you need to plan the training, what kind of hard skills you need to pick up? Is it going to be video, because video learning curve is there, or do you think it will be more of a long form content, or it will be just maybe curated content sharing, but in the right channels? So defining content format as in text, video, podcast, and define your channel. Is it LinkedIn? Is it Facebook? Is it Twitter? Is it all of it? So this is what you do here before you start the program, or when you are looking at the refresh. I usually, because I work with so many regions, and of course, LinkedIn is an easy default channel to look at, but of course, not necessarily customers are on LinkedIn. And even though the platform grows a lot, you see growth in Japan, you see growth in Korea, where when I started 3 years ago, people really were resisting working with LinkedIn because customers are not there. But I usually start with I have the link here with the Where Social Simon Kemp's reports on digital landscape by region and by country. And that's where the first data points are that I usually use to understand where the audience is. If I look at LinkedIn, for example, what is LinkedIn usage is in the country, what are other possible channels that I might not even know about. So that's my start. That's an easy start. So where audience is in your region. And then define key themes. In my experience, content is the most difficult part of social selling. And not only, we know that with any social media presence, being consistent with your content, making content work, and when you're thinking about organic content, is not easy. So picking, I suggest that from everything that you learn about your target customer, everything you learn about your content and channel, which also defines the content format, you define 3 key themes and start building your online presence with these key themes. So that could be, and of course, they're focused about the value that you bring to your customer and their interests. But it's really easy to get, sucked into a black hole of, okay, this is real-time marketing. This is what is happening right now. I'm kind of interested in that, so I will write about it. But you need to have a very clear strategy of the key things you will be talking about. And now, if I think about a social seller, if you are building your online presence as a social seller and you focus on these key themes and you are not all over the place, and this theme is not really very generic, it will be much easier to build your online presence. It will be much easier to become this trusted expert and advisor on social for your customer if you're very focused. So the chances of success are much higher if you're consistent with the topics. Then the next part, showing up. For any social seller, for any salesperson, long-term planning, the strategic planning is not really something that comes naturally. So you think in terms of quarters, you think in terms of short-term results. So showing up on social, meaning consistently posting and creating content and be there. You decided to do it once a week, and you actually do it once a week for a long period of time, let's take um, one financial year, or even you take one quarter. So showing up for any for anyone who leads the social selling program, this is the problem, because uh, people stop posting. So, and you have to embed this in the program to address this, to make sure that the show up part is covered, and it will happen. So pre-planning and pre-creating your content for 2 weeks, like content batching, is one really good approach. I would not go. I We experimented somewhat with content plans, but you honestly that's maybe going a bit too much into marketing area for if you're a salesperson. But just having these topics and then pre-planning content for 2 weeks, it means you plan to post every week. You pre-plan like 2-3 pieces of content. You do it once, and you're done. It can be your videos that you create in one day. It can be your post. It can be some curated content articles that you plan to publish, and you just add your comment on them. And then the other part is creating content idea list, because the fear of this white page is real when you, even if you have the content themes, what I actually write about, if I decide I will be say expert in security. So there's still this fear of whitelist. So having the practice of creating content idea list really helps. And there can be some real-time techniques that you're using. So you have customer conversations, you take your notes, but you also will always have some ideas on content from your customer conversations, and that will be really relevant content most likely. Um, then a few things that I do, and this is this one-off exercise that you can do once a quarter or once every 2 quarters. You look at, you define your themes, and then you do the Google keyword research, because it suggests you some ideas that are more specific or in the neighboring area of your idea. I always look at Google Trends. It really gives inspiration for your region. It can be very specific for one country, the audience interest in this keyword or search topic. Then I recommend using Answer the Public. Which is a great service that shows you what people are asking about online about a specific topic. I recently discovered Exploding Topics. If you are in tech space, this will not support your specific themes, but it will keep feeding you good ideas on what is trending um, online and in general, what themes, what products are trending. So it's really a good idea to check them out. They have newsletter, they come I think weekly, so it's a very easy source of ideas. And whenever I want to do more in-depth research, Reddit is my go-to space. Reddit, sometimes Quora, but Reddit never failed me if I want to understand the custom audience, because most of the communities are there. So and then the being curious and active. I think the ongoing curiosity and proactive approach is huge part of your success on social in general, in social sales. So always do your research. Uh, Always be aware of what competition is doing, who are influencers in the field, and how can you get visible. So how you can get visible, I put it here in being curious and being active. It means that you follow the audience online, the communities they attend, they participate in events that they sign up for. Especially now, attending an event is like 10 times easier than before. Then influencers, and then things like just discussions, because if you're your sales navigator, you will obviously have alerts about your target audiences participating in some discussions. So the proactive part here, every chance of you getting visible, you need to take. And then the last part, and this is also part of being curious and active, measure everything. What happens a lot is when you do your social media, you grow your presence, you are proactive, you are reaching out, but you do not really know if it works for you or not. So it's either for program manager or for a salesperson, having some reasonable targets, but also reflecting on your success and what worked and record it. This is a mindful approach to anything that works. In case of social selling, you just look back at the quarter. You had your target. These are my key accounts that I wanted to engage on social. These are my problem with contact information that I could not get, so I need to go to social and engage people there. And you have, at the end of the quarter, you look at, oh, actually, I did achieve 90% or 150% of what I was planning. So you reflect of what worked, because sometimes it's luck. Accidentally, I saw this post, I replied, and then I had conversation and it worked. So you reflect on this and it helps you keep doing the things that work. I hear so many success stories that are exactly about this. Say we have sales rep, and I really like this story when she was using Sales Navigator to reach out to C-level prospects, and they would ignore her. I mean, I think on social, the gatekeepers are even more difficult to overcome, because it's just, you cannot reason with anyone. So if you are ignored, you are ignored. So she kept reaching out. She sent maybe a couple of emails and she did not get any response. And then she saw an interview with this, I think it was a CTO or CEO of the company, where he gave an interview. So she read this, she picked a quote from the interview, she quoted him in another email and said, so this is what you said, and this is what I really can relate to, this aligned with our values, this is what I am all about, so please give me some time. And she got the response. So you say it's luck, she just came across the interview and she kind of managed to use this. So she got in, but this is a part of her strategy, and this is a part of her doing the basics right. Um, so yeah, and there are some don'ts. There are always things that I see around, and I try not to focus on negative things like you don't do this, you don't do that. But there's always advice that gives you, I don't know, secrets how to succeed on social, how to become a social selling ninja, some guru secrets. There are no secrets, honestly. These are just basics that you need to master and you will succeed. Um, so some don'ts, email spam. This means that sending tons of non-customized messages that are not, sometimes not even mentioning name, but in many cases you will customize up to the name, but then you offer something that is completely irrelevant and out of nowhere, you never engage with the person. So these types of messages, this is what given social selling really bad rep, because this is all over LinkedIn. All of you probably got these kinds of messages on LinkedIn. So this does not work. If you apply a rule of numbers, it might. So you will have some conversion. If you send 100 emails, maybe you will get your 3% conversion, but you will kill your first chance with a 97% or 97 people that you send this spam to. You maybe got just blocked. So not offering any value relevant, offering completely irrelevant product and solution. Um, so this is the big thing. And then all these tips, tricks, and hacks, which means I once joined, I think it was Facebook. Ironic, I joined the LinkedIn lead masters group, something like that, on Facebook. and lots of advice and questions and recommendations or about some LinkedIn scrapers, bots, how to collect emails this way, that way. Um, Honestly, this is letting bots do your work, and that will not work. First, this is not really GDPR compliant. Second, if you use LinkedIn Helper and the likes, you will get your number, but it will be a meaningless number. So if you are skipping the basics and going for, say, your network grows to 50,000 people with the help of a bot, this network is nothing. This is like your email list that never heard of you and has irrelevant people on it. And then one more thing that is not exactly a don't, but lots of profiles turn into a company newsroom. You have your employee advocacy programs in place that enable this. So you see lots of people, all they do is repulse your company, news, pitch, updates, and sometimes they would key in some kudos to their colleagues, and that's all. So the best practices I see there is when at least you customize and you add your view on why you're sharing this company news. So you still target and address your audience. But of course, it's not like you should not do this at all. It's a good add to your content stream and your content strategy, but it should be mindful and it should be, again, back to basics. You should think about your customer. You should think about your target audience. Is it valuable to them? And you should also go back to your key three themes. And you need to have a spin and still stick to your key themes. If this company update fits, or there's an angle that this is why I'm sharing this with you, because I've been talking about this topic for so long, and this is why this update from my company is relevant. So then it's a good practice. If it's just mindless repost, it's not a good practice. So I hope that I conveyed the message that it's really easy to do it, that it's really easy to just succeed mastering the basics, which is offer value, show up, respect your audience, show up, and be curious and be proactive. So mainly be proactive in what you do. Any program can be built about that, around that. It can be your coaching program, it can be your training enablement program, or it can be just your interlock between marketing and sales based on content and campaigns, but keeping the basics in mind. This will bring you to success. So I'm all about, I like understanding the basics and the concepts, but for me, the exciting part is getting this to execution as fast as possible. So we cannot go into execution details here. I have created this social selling 30-day start. So if you want to try, you can use that. There's a bit.ly where you can download this. And so these are the actions that will help you drive the basics, make the right decisions, understand key things, and just try. If you follow the actions, see at the end of the 30-day, you have a couple of days to measure, reflect what worked, what did not work. That would be a good start. So with that, I think I went through all of my slides. Yeah. Do we have any questions? Aaron, should I have access to questions? I don't know if you have any. But if you haven't asked anything here, please feel free connecting with me on LinkedIn. My name is quite unique, so if you just type in Anna Rokina in LinkedIn, you'll find me. All right. Okay, I'll wait for Aaron to step in with any. I don't think we have questions. All right. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. It was a very different experience not seeing your faces, uh, not seeing the reaction, but I think we'll get used to it. This is a part of our own digital transformation. So hope to talk to you guys offline.